it. The recording is also started. This is ODL lab number 2, and hopefully, yes, beta. This university Wi-Fi is weak. Actually, I am actually doing this one from my own lab at home. So, plus it's recorded. So don't worry on this part. And I have set up this table also. Everyone actually can see this one. This is being recorded as well over here. So I will not just waste time, and I will just straight away. Okay, as you can see over here, I have this table set up over here, and I hope everyone can have a look on this one. I'm going to show you the tools again. I will give you the names as well again over here, so you can actually have this from the previous one. So this is the toolbox. I hope everyone can have a look on this one. So if I name this toolbox over here, the tools over here, some of the tools I have kept them over here on this side. Starting from this yellow color one, as you all can see over here. This one is the nose plier, because the shape over here is that nose structure. So this is actually a nose plier. So this is that nose plier, and how it's going to be used. At least in this lab, you have this nose plier over here and you have this cutter over here. So when you have these two things over here and you want to strip some wire, so supposedly I have some jumper wires over here with me. So I have this jumper wire over here in my hand, and I want to strip this. Now sometimes, since this is a long piece over here with me, so when I want to strip it out, I can just cut something, or I can actually strip out from here like this. But sometimes the wire is very small. So what I will do over here, I will hold this one with my one hand, the nose plier, and have it a grip, and then I can actually cut it or strip it like this over there. So these two tools are going to be very handful for you. This is the nose plier and this is the wire stripper or the cutter over here. So these two tools are going to be very much important over there. Apart from this one, I have told you previously also, this is the paper cutter, and this paper cutter is going to be used maybe in your PCB when you are going to make a PCB physically in the lab or something like that, or sometimes you have some very thick wire where you actually want to strip it using this blade. So this is actually going to be very good. Then this is again a wire stripper. Actually that one is most mine. This is the soldering iron, and I told you previously also, and this soldering iron you are going to have, this is the hot part which is actually going to be in high temperature. This is the plug-in over here, and when you are going to plug in, please do not touch this region over there, and this bit over here, this bit has to be cleaned every time, and that cleaning has to be done by that yellow color sponge over there, or that cleaning pad, and it should be wet over there. And please don't use any abrasive materials on this tip over here. So this is that soldering iron, and then there is this sucker, and I told you when we will do this, actually the soldering part, I will show you as well. Let's see how the university actually goes on. If I have to show this one on camera, I can show this over here as well. So this is that solder sucker, and you actually place this tip where my finger is at present, and you place it over there and the circuit, and you just press this button. So what happens, as you can see, this lever has gone back. So what happens, it actually sucks that melted solder. So every next time you want to again use it, just press it again, and then you are going to actually use it back. So this is a soldering sucker over here. Okay. And then this is the paste. I told you last time also, this is the soldering paste over there. Normally the purpose of this one is actually working as a catalyst, so that you can actually keep the temperature down of the whole circuitry over there. Then I have this two pin or two-sided screwdriver over there, and then coupled with this four-sided screwdriver over here. So I have this two-sided and four-sided screwdrivers over there, and apart from this, the next thing I guess, or the last thing actually in this one, is actually this soldering stand. And when you will be actually be given this toolbox, then I will show you how you are actually going to make this connection. So this is that toolbox over here, and I hope everyone has an idea what is this. And hopefully 019 session, they are actually working, they have those toolboxes with them, they are returning those toolboxes on their projects are being returned at present. So this toolbox will be given to you as soon as you come in the department lab, and this toolbox, as you can see on the nameplate as well also, this is the total name given and the status also is given over there. The name is also written on this part. So this toolbox, I have this toolbox with me and I will be using it just today also as well. Coming to the next thing over here, as you can see over here, I have this breadboard over here with me, and I told you in the last lecture as well that this is going to be that 7 segment over there. This is going to be that again another 7 segment. This was a regulator that was 5 volts over there, and we're just going to keep it here at present. And this is that IC over there. Today I'm not going to use any IC or something. I am just going to tell you that this 7 segment, when it is going to be used and it's going to be placed on this breadboard, how this is going to be lighted up again, and how what voltage and what resistances are going to be connected. Last time, if you remember, I showed you this pin over here, the dip switch over there, and this was 4 pins over here, 4 pins over here. This time I'm showing you this one. I bought this one, and this is that 8-bit dip switch. You can see the 8 switches over here, and certainly if you are interested in using a 4-bit 4-pin over here, this is actually a 4-pin over here. So these are the dip switches, these are the 7 segment over here, and then this is the female header. I told you in the last lecture also, this is the female header over here, and then I have this transistor also. I'm not going to today talk about this transistor a lot, but at the very end I will talk about this one, because I want to keep it very simple for the very first lab, because this is going to be just a very simple first working of yours on anything just like a breadboard. So I'm not going to make it very complex in the very first case. So it's just going to be a single digit 7 segment just like this one, or maybe I will be using another color one. I have some other different colors as well. You can see I have this one. The background color is gray. Maybe the lighting color can be green, red, blue, whatever that case may be. So I have all these 7 segments over here. I have this LED over there. I'm just taking off everything over here. So this is this breadboard in front of me. So I hope everyone can clear. Any questions up till now, Ji? Please. I think so. There has been some questions or whatever. Please, any questions from the CR or whatever, so I can just move on and go on towards this. Gee, any questions? Okay, so assuming no questions over here, and I have all the participants and attendees over here. Okay, the total number of presents are 109 plus 17. So still it's not the full quantity. CRs, please make sure that everyone who has to actually come over here. I am downloading the attendance at present. I will take this attendance at 3 different points. So this is very important. Okay, coming back to this my work table over here. I'm going to use a single digit 7 segment. Okay, so let me just use this one. This is having a little spoiled leg, so I'm going to use this one, or maybe like this one is easy, or maybe this one. Anything you can. I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to place this one over here, and I told you in the previous also that what is a breadboard, and I told you. Let me use again tell you on this one. On this breadboard over here, this hole. Let me just zoom it a little more, so I hope everyone can have a look what I am actually talking on this one. Okay, so if I'm touching this hole at present, any hole in line over here, these all holes where my screwdriver is moving, this is going to be connected together. So when I'm going to place this single digit 7 segment over here, and this single digit 7 segment is going to be placed over here like this. This means if I show you from this side, so these are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pins over here. So when these 5 pins are connected, so when I am going to use any of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 pins over here. As you can see in every 7 segment, there are like 10 pins over there, and they are again spaced by 2.54 mm. So now when you have this as 7 segment over here, now they can be of two types. One is called as common anode, another one is called as common cathode. Now the name actually tells you the main difference over there, that what is a common anode and common cathode. Common anode means that, as you can see over here in this 7 segment, how many segments are there? There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, and then there is a dot. Now what this dot means over here, this dot is going to be a display parameter over there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 segments, these are LEDs. I told you previously. So when these are LEDs, all of their anodes, which means every diode, which is actually a light emitting diode, it has a common anode. So all of those diodes, these 7 LEDs inside this 7 segment, all of their anodes from where the current is actually going to enter, that is going to be connected commonly to one pin. What is that pin? I will tell you just later on. So what does common anode mean? That all these 7 plus 1 dot, their anodes, since they are LEDs over there, so they are light emitting diodes. You all know a diode has an anode and a cathode. Anode is the entering terminal from where the positive current is actually going to enter, and the cathode is that terminal from where the current is actually going to leave. So all of these 8 LEDs, their anodes are combined together and they are connected to the center pin at here, which means the third pin from the down any side, or the center pin from here. So this means that in this particular, out of those 10 pins, this one is common anode point, this one is also common anode point. They are internally connected, so you can just give power to this point or this point over here, and the 7 segment will be turned on over there. So this 7 segment, you are going to give positive supply to only this central pin at here or at here, and when you want to turn on any particular segment, you are going to have to give, maybe this is going to be one segment you want to turn on, you want to write down 2, so this means you are going to turn on this segment, this segment, this segment, this and this. So in this way 2 is going to be written over there. So in simple way, this one has to be turned on by a common anode. This is the common anode 7 segment over here. Now this is very simple 7 segment, so I have to give it a 5 volt supply. Now I don't have the supply in front of the camera at present, but I am going to use this 2 wires over here. These are actually coming on from the power supply. I have connected it and set up at present. So what I am going to do, these are flexible wires, as you can see. Now one of these flexible wires, I am going to take some jumper wires over here. This is a simple jumper wire, and as you can see, this is a green in color. So normally green color is normally used for the ground, or maybe it has a little bit same shape. One thing very important, please see when I am stripping this wire. Since this wire over here at present is not stripped very far, I need a little longer stripping up because that is copper. I want to make it connections with this red or the black color wire. Please keep this flat side away from you. So when you are holding it, as you can see, this flat side from where it is going to actually strip, it has to move away from here. So when I'm going to hold it like this, I'm going to keep this one in my one hand and I'm going to give it. So you can see now this is peeled off. The insulation has been peeled off. Now why I have done this insulation peeling off, so that now I can use this on the black color, because this is the ground over here, and over here I am going to do some twists over here on this one. Now be very careful over here. Why? Because one is flexible, other one is hard wire. So when you are going to keep them both, the hard one is going to break off because that is not that ductile. It cannot be kept in one simple way. So now you can see the joint has been done. Now the reason I am not putting this flexible wire direct into this breadboard, because this breadboard is not designed for flexible wires. I am directly taking it as the green color wire, which is actually the jumper wire over here, and now I can put this one over here on this side. So this is my ground connected over here. Now as I told you previously also, that from here, this hole up till this hole, this is going to be connected as 1, and then there is going to be this upper one connected as 1. Now I am going to use the topmost one as 5 volt, the lowest most one as the ground over here. So since there are like 4 sections over there, just for this one, I'm going to move this one over here, the 7 segment over here in this region. So I can now connect my ground to any pin over here, and then I can take. Now for the positive one also, since this is the red color one, so I will take another wire. Let me take another wire from my jumper wires collection. It's difficult to please keep the mess. I will just go through the messages a little later. It's difficult for me to actually see the messages. In fact, let me open my mobile. Actually, I can see this. So you can see now again I am stripping the wire. So you can see when I am stripping the wire, I am doing this one like this. So the wire is stripped, and on the other side you can see now the color has been changed. You can see, I hope everyone can see on this one, or maybe on this where this one is a little bright, this one is dull. What has happened over here? The oxidation of the copper has been done. Since this was covered, it was not oxidized. I just peeled off the insulation. So if you want to have actually the normal one, I will cut off this part and I will again trip it. Now you can see this is again bright copper. Copper, if left in open air, this is oxidized. Let me just see what is actually, there is some questions. Sorry. Okay. I can use anything, beta. I can use the flexible hard wire from the Ethernet wire. I can use anything. I guess Bilal is there, so I guess any Bilal, please administer the queries on the conversation window. I hope you can do that, because then actually it saves me from this one. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this red color wire over here, and I'm again going to connect it with this one, and I'm just going to supply this connection on the topmost 5 volts. Now, so this means this orange color almost is going to be the 5 volts connection. This green color is going to be the ground connection. Now I'm not going to give directly 5 volt to the center pin over here on this side or center pin on this side. I'm going to, when I'm going to connect them, I will have some resistor also connected, which is very important. Why are resistors connected? Because it has to limit the current, because it's a diode. A diode has a forward voltage drop of 0.7 volts. It's a silicon diode, or maybe germanium. I'm not concerned with that at present, maybe 0.6, 0.7, but normally in that range. So 0.6 or 0.7, this means that you are going to have a voltage applied over here. Either you can connect a resistance from this point to the center pin over here, or you can connect directly over here and then connect a resistance between any of the pins and see what happens over here. So what I'm going to do now, before I light up this 7 segment over here, I'm going to use this LED, and let's just check that this LED turns on or not. Over here, as I told you previously, this LED has 2 legs. And as you can see, one is the longer part, other one is the shorter part. So this means that the longer one is the positive. So I'm going to place it in the positive, and I'm going to place the other leg over here. So you can see now what I've done. I have placed the positive one over here in this one and negative one over here. Now from this point to this ground, I'm going to connect a resistance, and this resistance I am going to take it 330 ohms resistance. So I'm going to use this 330 ohms resistance over here. So it can be something 470 ohms or whatever. So this is a simple carbon film resistance over here. So I'm going to, this is very simple one, hard wire over here, and I'm going to connect it over here, and I'm going to have the other end in the other hole on this side. So you can see now that there is an LED. Now why I'm doing this LED? So this LED will be actually telling me throughout my experiment that my power supply is working. Actually I have not turned on the power supply yet. So I will just turn it on, and I will see now that this green color LED, okay. I have just turned on, and you can see now the green color LED has lighted up. You can see, I hope everyone can see this. This is being recorded as well, but I hope. Now continuing this recording, sorry for the delay over here. I'm back to over here. As you can see now, the LED is turned on, and when this LED is turned on, you can see over here very easily that the 5 volts has been applied, and you can find out, since this is a green LED, the forward voltage drop can be something 0.8, 0.9. So I'm not going to go in the mathematics of it and what current is flowing through it, but normally a 330 ohms or a 470 ohm resistance can actually work very beautifully over here. Now what I want to need to do over here is actually turn on this 7 segment. Now I am not going to use first of all this dip switches over here. I told you just this dip switches. I will just do this one a little later. I'm just going to use simple jumper wires and turn this on. So what I'm going to do, I have this very small jumper wire over here in my hand. Now I'm going to tell you how you are actually going to peel off the insulation. One side is already peeled off. I'm just cutting this insulation over here. I hope everyone can see this. I have this insulation peeled off from over here, and the other one I have this one again holding it on this side. Again I'm repeating, the flat side is going to move away from you. So you see I have hold it up here in this my hand. I'm going to use a nose plier. I have taken this one and this one, hold it very tight firmly, and over here with this wire stripper peel it off. It's actually not a very good insulation on this one. Anyway, I have just peeled it off. You can see the two sides are peeled off. Now the reason I am taken this small jumper wire is this, that I am now going to connect it from this one, from the positive 5 volts, and take this voltage directly in the third pin or the center pin over here. So what this means, as you can see over here, I have given plus 5 volts to the center pin, which is the common anode. So now what pins are remaining over here? One here, 2 hairpins, 2 pins here, 2 pins here. The center one is already common anode, and these 2 are other one. So these are 2, 2, 2, 2. So how many they are? 8 pins. And how many segments are there? We know already they are 8. So this means that when I'm going to put, I'm going to take another resistance again over here, and when I'm going to use this resistance, take the other end in the ground over here. As you can see over here, I've taken this other resistance, and now I'm going to connect it over here with this pin in this area. So you can see now this is green color dot has been lighted up. So what this is telling me, that this pin on this side over here, the extreme right pin over here on the bottom side over here, this is having this dot lighted up over here. So next over here, if I want to connect it with the other pin, I'm just going to use that one again. Now you can see which segment has taken off. This segment has turned on over here. Now how this segment are going to be named? Sir Bilal will be sharing a document also with you in the conversation window. I hope he can share it over here. This segment over here, now I'm going to name these segments. How? This one is A on the top, this one is A, this one is B, this one is C. Now C is lighted up at present. Then this one is D, then this one is E, this one is F. So starting from the topmost side, A, B, C, D, E, F, and this center one is G. So now when I want to actually, maybe supposedly I want to have E1 printed over there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take another over here, another resistance, and I'm going to maybe supposedly have this one in the ground, and I'm now going to have it connected over here maybe with the first pin. So you can see now which pin has lighted up. This is A, B, C, D, E. E has lighted up. So you can see, and if I change this one, supposedly if the other one which is just with it over there, I want to check that one. So what has happened now? This is C and D are lighted. So D, C and D are lighted. So the lower portion pins, the pins which were on this side, I have just showed you that what is the pin configuration over there, which pin is going to on which segment over there. This is a common anode 7 segment. Why a common anode? Because I have given a common anode positive 5 volt supply at this point over here, and this is being turned on. Now I want to actually use it using a switch. Okay? So now I am going to make it a little bit in a neat form over there. I'm not going to just have this one by having a hand over there. I want to use this dip switch over there. Now you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this means that there are 8 resistances over 8 switches over there. Now I'm going to use this one. So I will just turn off this, take off this resistances at present. Now one thing very important, whenever you are working on this one and you are putting those resistances and whatever, please turn off the power supply. Now since my power supply at present is working on UPS, I'm not going to turn it on and off again and again. So I'm just going to play it over here. I'm now going to move this a little on this side. You can see. And I'm going to place this 7 segment, dip switch over here on this side. Now I'm going to take this center wire and I'm going to put this, this is my center wire over here, the common anode point, and I'm going to supply this one with a 5 volt point. So you can see what I have done, I have given it a 5 volt on the center pin. Now this is the dip switch. From this each dip switch, you can see over here on this topmost side, these are 8 switches which I can control it by this simple switches. You can see I have turned 8 switch 7. Actually this is quite hard. Let me use another new one. I have an ample amount over here with me, so that's not an issue. Let me use a red color actually. That is going to be more visible on the camera. So you can see now over here, if I want to turn switch number 8 on, I will make this up. If I want to turn 7 switch, I am going to have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. So these are 8 switches, and how they are going to be connected, they are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I want to have a current flowing through it, so anything connected on this pin over here, the first pin, if I have turned this on, the current will flow from the center on this one, any of the holes connected over here, and then I can reroute that current over here. Now in my case over here at present, I am going to have this 7 segment. From here the current is traveling from this common anode pin positive supply 5 volts, and from any of the other pins I am now going to make that connection to this dip switch on the top side. Now since I have 8 remaining pins, so I am going to have those 8 connected to these 8 over here, and then I am going to connect a resistance from this 1 to ground, 2 to ground, 3 to ground, 4 to ground, 5 to ground, 6 to ground. So whenever I am going to turn on this switch, the 7 segment will be turned on. Now first of all, I will turn everything off, and for just my space sake I am taking this LED and all that one on the other side, so that it's easy for me to actually work on this one, and I'm taking this one on this side. Okay, so I hope everyone can see this one. Now I have this jumper wires over here with me. Let me just take a little bit good set of jumper wires over here. You can see the jumper wires here in my hand. Now I am going to connect every available pin which is on this 7 segment to this dip switch, and what is going to happen, from each pin the current is going to flow towards the topmost dip switch over there, and from that dip switch the current, when I am going to turn this switch on, the current is going to flow through a resistance which is going to be connected with this breadboard ground point. So I am going to use it. Now this is very important that you see this very carefully, because the amount of wire which you are going to use over here, so this is a very small jumper wire. Now I hope everyone can have a look on this one. I am going to connect from here. I am taking this one as pin number, you can call it whatever pin, and I have to connect it. Now you can see over here, I have to connect it at this point. So I am going to take a little bit length wire so that it does not come on the very top. I am just peeling off this using a stripper. Okay, so you can see now I have a jumper wire in my hand. Let me actually just come a little closer so I can actually work on this one. So I hope everyone can have a look on this one. I'm just making this space a little easy even for me. So you can see now this is my first pin, and I am connecting this first pin to the first pin on the dip switch. Over here. I hope you can see this. Now the point of actually doing this one in front of you is this, because when I've done this one, the jumper wire is parallel to the breadboard. It's not hanging like this from the topmost side. It's not a loophole. I cut it in that length so that it was just in that hole and then in this head hole, and it's almost in parallel touching the breadboard surface over there. Now what has done, the circuit will look clean over here if you are do it like this. So I've just done. Now let's just check what we have done just now. I will use the resistors over here, and now I am going to connect this resistance to the ground. Now you can connect it like this, just like I have done it, but again you can see this is a loop over here and everything is on the above side. I don't want that to happen. So what I will do, I will cut off this resistance. The legs are going to be cut off. Again, I am going to use this cutter and I am going to cut it in such a way so that now you can see, now I am going to put this one end into the ground, you can see, and the other end of this one is going to go in this one. So now you can see I have kept it parallel to the surface, and now since this is connected, everything is connected, as soon as I will turn on the first switch, the 7 segment, you can see as I am touching it, what segment is on? The center segment has turned on, which was segment number G. If I want to turn it off, I can turn it off over here. So I can now connect ample amount of all of these ones over here. So I will just take it a little faster way. I will just connect 3 or 4 of them over here. So now I have again a resistance. I will just cut off this resistance over here, and for the second pin I am just doing that one first over here. So this is my second resistance. You can see I am just cutting those legs over here a little so that I can just put them parallel to the surface over here. So you can see in the ground and then in the third pin. Now if you can notice over here, I have made this resistance inside this hole. I could have taken it here. It's totally up to me if you want to keep it at this point or this point. Now since you have an ample space, you can actually use the length of that resistance which you are cutting, and you can easily do it in this way. So now I am again cutting this one over here, and I am putting the 4th resistor now. So now when I have this 4th resistance, and I can now put it, actually the legs are a little okay, and now I am going to cut the 5th one, and this is my breadboard over here, and so this is my, this one resistance is a little smaller, so I have just, now be very careful that the resistances, their metallic parts or their lengths, they do not touch each other. As you can see over here, they are not touching each other, they are actually just having their bodies touching each other, and that does not do any difference because they are coated as insulated over there. So I have this one again, another resistance over there, and in this way I have this one. In fact, actually I can just, how many segments have been done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I can just have the 7th one. For the dot, just leave that dot for the meantime. When we are going to make a PCB today, I will do that one in the software, but as far as this is concerned, I guess this is all enough. Okay, so you can see now I have tried to make them, now it's totally up to you how aesthetically you are going to make that happen. Practically they should be in a straight line, but since it's not that much done, but still anyway, they are touching the surface of the breadboard. So there is no issue over here. So now I have to do the other connections which are on the topmost, this one, and then I have to do the other connections over there. So let me just take a jumper wire from over here. I have an ample amount of jumper wires over here. Let me just, this is my jumper wire. Every time when you are taking an old jumper wire, please cut off the oxidized part, and then you can peel off the layer, and then the next one is going to be almost the same. Now one thing very important, when you are going to cut off from here, you are going to use the second pin. So I am going to use this second one, and this is going to be connected with over here at this point. So this means I'm going to cut something equal to this one. Now this will come when you will do a little practice afterwards. So this it has to be done carefully. You can see the length has been peeled off from one side. I'm holding this nose plier in my one hand and I am stripping off this over here. So you can see now my jumper wire is ready, and I'm now going to put it in the second over here, the second dip switch over here, and this is going to, in fact, let me just rearrange this a little so that one I have an ample amount of space over there. Be very careful when you are putting this one, so they are parallel. Now you can see I've tried to make them in parallel, the resistance is there. Now let me just check the second thing so that I can confirm that I have not done any wrong connections over here. So when you can see as soon as I touch it, the segment number, which segment is this? A, B, C, D, E, F. So F segment is turned on. The first one was G, so F, G, F segments are turned on, and then I will use another jumper wire over here. I guess some questions, I guess, don't worry. Let me just turn on this recording. Actually, I turned off this recording in between. Okay, so this is this segment over here, and I'm going to again do this peeling off the insulation. So now the insulation is peeled off, and now I can actually do the connection with the third one, which is actually now this is my connection with the third dip switch. So now just to check it that this third dip switch has been done, I will just turn on. You can see now as soon as I touch this third one up, the A segment is turned on. So you can see now that the three switches, they are now active at present, and in this way you can go on, and I will just show you maybe for one more, or maybe from the down as well. Let me do that so it's a little easy for anyone who wants to actually do this. Okay, so this is going to be the fourth one from here, and from here this is going to be the last one. Now this is a little lengthy, but anyway I am going to try to just make it because I don't want to waste some time over here. So now you can see the 4 dip switches are active. I can now test each one of them. This is the first one. You can see this is the G segment, this one is the A, B, C, D, E, F segment, this one is the A segment, and the fourth one we have just done, this is B segment. So you can see now that each pin has a particular segment which is going to be turned on whenever you are going to use these dip switches over there. So now the lower portion ones, you can do that one, and I'm just going to put jumper wires very quickly over there because this is the first segment, and I actually want to go on towards the PCB design of this one. So that is very important over here today. And now one thing very important, now what you are going to do, you have to take a wire from this end, and that wire has to go up till the 5th pin over here. So now when I am going to take from this one to this one, I can actually enter like this and take that wire in the air, but that will not look nice. So what I have to do, I will have to make this wire move from here to here and like this. So in this way, it will keep itself parallel or touching the surface of the breadboard, but it will look nice, and even if the breadboard is in some other hand or whatever, it will not peel off the wire. Otherwise, if these wires which I have just done, they were a little bit above, they were having a loop, so if I can plug them out very quickly. So one thing very important, that whenever you are working on a breadboard and you want to actually work on the aesthetics as well, so you can see now what I am doing, I am putting this one over here in this way. So now the 5th one should be turned on. So you can see now as soon as I am touching the 5th one, A, B, C, D, E. So this one is E. So 5th segment is E. So this dip switch As soon as I turn it on, this is my segment number E over here, and then I will use some 2 more wires actually. 5 have been done, so 2 more wires I will just peel off. And this lecture is being recorded, so those of you who are having an issue with the buffering or with the internet speed at present, don't worry, we will be giving you the online lecture. Hopefully I will upload it as soon after this lecture is over, and don't worry on this one. In fact, I will take pictures of this circuit as well, and hopefully upload it on the MS Teams as well. I'm doing this one in physical form over here, telling you how a breadboard is used, how a 7 segment is used, so that you can actually take this information. I'm going to do this very same circuit in Altium software. I'm going to design a PCB. Now, since we are not doing a Breadboard stuff at present, we are not in university at present, and we don't have that practices at present. So I'm going to just show the circuit on the breadboard first, and then I'm going to take this one on the on the PCB directly. So now this is the second pin, and I'm going to now connect it with the 6th pin over there, and now this is connected, and I can make this one in as neat as possible. You can see I've done this one jumper wires. Now some students, they try to actually use the jumper wires in good fashion, so they want to actually have all the jumper wires of the same color, and they want to keep it color coded. It's totally up to you, but as far as the lab is concerned, you won't get every time the same color of jumper wire. So don't go into that practice. Otherwise, if you have an ample amount, then you can do that. So now this is the, I'm now going to go on. The center pin is common anode. I'm not going to go towards that. I'm going to use the second last pin on this side. The last pin we already know, that is the dot. I'm not going to connect that one later on. We will do that on the PCB. So I am now just going to cut it for the 7th segment, because our main aim is actually that we need to connect the 7th segment, and we need to turn on the 7th segment over here. So I'm now putting this one in this hole, and this one has to go over here in this one. So you can see now I have connected almost all 7 segments, and if you want to connect the dot, you can do that one as well. Now let's just check that all those 7 segments, they are working or not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check. This is the actually the first one, the second one, the third one, the 4th one, the 5th one, the 6th one, the 7th one, and you can see everything is working. The 8th one is still not connected. I have not connected the dot, but you can connect it yourself. I'm just leaving it to you. When you do this work physically, then you can do it. So you can see. Now if I want to display, now one thing very important, if I want to display supposedly 0, so what I will do, I will turn off the center segment over here. So you can see now this is 0. So if I want to now display, supposedly if I turn something, let's just see what is this. If I want to have the, this is 5. So combination of any segments, you can display any value or any digit from 0 to 9 with some point as well. So this is a 7th segment, a common anode 7th segment, and I have connected it through a dip switch. And by using this dip switches physically, I am actually using this resistances also on the other side. So this is a simple 7 segment over here connected with a dip switch over here, and the current is going to be limitized by these resistances over there. This LED is just functioning over here to tell us that my power supply is actually working and there is no issue over there from the power supply side. This is a breadboard over here, and you can see over here I have tried to make all the wires parallel to the surface of the breadboard over there. They're not hanging in a loop over here, upside over here. So this is over there. So even I can preserve this breadboard maybe for 1 week or 2 weeks. It's not going to be an issue, and maybe in the next week I can use it again over there. But again, as I've told you previously also, a breadboard is a prototyping board where you can actually just put in things and you can just use whatever. Now over here today I have just taken a 7 segment, connected it with a dip switch over there, an 8-bit. Why 8-bit? Because these are 8 switches over there. So these are 8 bits, just like bits in your computer over there, or laptops or your mobiles or whatever, the digital world. I hope everyone has an idea on this one. So this is an 8-bit dip switch over here, and in this 8-bit dip switch you are controlling the 7 segments and 1 dot. So these are 7 segments and 1 dot are being controlled over there. This is a simple LED connected with a 330 ohm resistance over here on this breadboard. Now one thing over here, practically when you are going to run a 7 segment, you are not going to use this dip switch and this resistances practically. Why? Because this dip switch you are having, if you just do a little bit math calculation over there, since each segment is going to have a drop of 0.8 or 0.7 something or 0.75, so 5 minus that 0.75, this is that voltage drop, divided it by this resistance value, which is approximately 330 ohms. So this means that current value is something near about something 10 or 12 milliamperes, or maybe even more than that if you are going to supply a little larger voltage. So you are having a little current flowing through these dip switches. These dip switches are not designed for that much current. They can't handle in each one of them that much current. So just for today I have done this one in front of you, but for a very long time I can't make this run. Maybe for like 1 day or 2 days it can still run, but afterwards when the current is going to be large and that current is going to heat up these switches, so maybe the switch will get deformed and it's not going to be practically used. So maybe in the next lab I will tell you that there is going to be an IC involved, and that IC you can use it for the dip switch. So that IC is going to be connected with that dip switch, and that IC, whatever that IC means integrated circuit, some IC configuration, that is actually going to sync the current. Now I am going to introduce 2 terms over here which are going to be very much used inside this lab over here. One is the sink, other one is the source. Now the name is very much important over here, that this common anode is sourcing the current to this 7 segment. Because the current is traveling from this red wire or orange wire through this common anode point inside this 7 segment, and there are 7 segments plus 1 dot over there, and from this, after illuminating this, that current is flowing through this wire, through this dip switch, and it is sinking through this resistance towards the ground, and it is traveling towards the power supply through this green color wire. So this is a sink and source. So I hope you get a concept of sink and source. So the IC which I am going to introduce in the next lab, hopefully, I'm going to keep it very simple over here today. So in this lab today, what we have just done, I have given you a simple 7 segment display. This is a green color over there. In fact, let me just change it to some red color. Let me just find out, maybe, I guess there is some messages over there. Beta, as far as the toolbox is concerned, I will give instructions most probably maybe 2 or 3 days. Actually 2019 session is in the process at present for returning those toolboxes. So there are not ample amount of toolboxes still over there. I will give you a deadline, so don't worry, most probably in this week end or next week start, I will tell you on that one. I will update that on the MS Teams. And first of all, you will have to make groups, and I will ask your CRs actually to make groups over there. Bilal, the TA, Mr. Bilal will actually assist you on this one. So how you can make groups over there so that those toolboxes can be actually given to you with a set of jumper wires and all that. But since you are not coming in the lab and you are actually going to work on your own homes, a 5-volt supply, I will tell you a link as well where you can actually buy a simple 5-volt adapter, or maybe a simple adapter actually, or maybe a charger, or maybe 1 ampere or 2 ampere is enough for that purpose. Which process, beta? Roll number 172. Please elaborate, write it again over there. Which process again, beta? Acha, I'm going to the IC one. Okay, the IC one is actually going to be a sink or a source. As I told you just now, that in this diagram, your source is this supply. From this green color wire, the current is being sourced to this common anode point, the center pin over here, and from that one it is flowing through any of these segments, and from that segment that is flowing towards this dip switch, and from this dip switch, when it is turned on, the resistance sinks the current towards the ground. Now as I told you that this dip switch cannot handle that much current for a long amount of time. Maybe it can work over here for like 1 hour, 2 hours, or maybe even 24 hours. But this switch is not designed for more than like 5 or 6 milliamperes of current. So what I am suggesting, which we'll do in the next lab, that with this dip switch, I am going to use another IC over here in this area, and that IC is going to sink the current for this dip